Sorry if you're getting some sun glare. I just thought I would. Here I am, back up in the top of the garden, where I always seem to start my Hungarian videos. And just because the view is just so bloody awesome, as you can see. It was very misty this morning. It's all cleared up now. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, so here we are. Okay, the birdies. So it's been a good trip. I've had a lot to do, sort of organising a bit the little house and the and just doing stuff here in the garden. I've started painting the living room, which I'll show you. So if we go down, I'm going to pause. So for those of you who follow my channel, you'll know that I got these rocks delivered in February with the view to be making terraces here and raised beds and borders and things for the garden and whatnot. But obviously, like these humongous, the size of these, I cannot lift them myself, and or probably help out with anybody. Smaller ones are okay. I've been using those to make a beautiful raised bed, and I'll show it to you now. And I'm so proud of my raised bed. No, this is not the raised bed, but I just was actually, as I was walking past this lupin, I've put down the seeds pre-COVID, and this is the one lupin that made it. So I think that's probably about 4 years old. I put the seeds down about 4 years ago. This isn't the raised bed either. This is where I've put the Montana very cleverly next to this humongous snail. But hopefully, I mean, if it survives, it survives. I'll grow up and cover this wall here of the part of the barn. Ta-da! This is my raised bed. I'm so proud of it. I lugged those, hauled those rocks over, layered them and organised it all. It was bloody hard graft, but I enjoyed every part of putting these rocks down. I mean, some of them are really pretty big, and I was quite surprised at my strength at getting them down. I mean, the trickiest bit is to place them so that they're sturdy, don't become loose, because like undoubtedly deer are going to be walking across this and all sorts, so it's going to have a lot of, it needs to be strong and sturdy, and I've just kind of interlocked them here and there. So a good example down here, where you've kind of layered them over like this, and that gives them extra strength. The only ones I didn't put down, there's 3 in the back, and my friends lugged those over because they were extremely big, and I couldn't pick them. But apart from that, everything is my work, and I'm just so happy with it. And you know, it's really interesting because when I was doing it, it's like, you know, I was doing it on my own. I was thinking a lot about what I was doing, and sort of still having my sort of, you know, this is my time when I really kind of sort of self-develop, I think, and become very self-aware when I'm here, because you know, because there's no real distractions, just nature and myself. And so what this kind of highlighted me making this bed was about letting go and not being, you know, not being fixed on an outcome and going with the flow. And that a song came into my head while I was making it, and it's called Be Water by Francois and the Atlas Mountains, and I hadn't heard it for years. And then I was with a student recently, and she's like really into alternative music, and we looked it up for some reason. I don't know why I remembered it, and I looked it up and it came back into my head about, and it's called Be Water, and it's Francois and the Atlas Mountains. If you ever want to listen to a beautiful song that seems very sort of innocent and sort of like soft and almost maybe a little bit superficial, but actually if you really kind of think about it and meditate on it, it's really it's like a life lesson. It's a life lesson in poetry form, in a song. Anyway, so while I was making this raised bed, I was thinking about alchemy, and like the opposite of what one of these huge, great big rocks can be is water. And I felt like I had almost like well, I did. I'm not going to be shy of it. I felt like I was having like an alchemic experience when I was placing the rocks, feeling like I was going with the flow and being like water. It was really strange because I was like thinking, well, how can it be? Because these are so heavy and cumbersome, and I was cutting up my hands, and my hands are a wreck. And how can it be like water? But it's the experience was like being like water, going the flow. I hope that doesn't sound too weird. Anyway, that's how it felt, and I loved it, and I'm going to be making more. So what else I got from the garden centre were these red rockets, which I've put here, and these Sharon fruits, which I wasn't quite sure where to put them, so I've just potted them up in a larger pot, and I'll think about that on a later date. I've put seeds down. I've put more lupin seeds down and zinnia seeds, and I've been putting and I put some down here. So obviously the daffodils have come up, which is great, and I planted these, I think it was last October, and so the deer aren't eating them, but they've eaten all of the tulips, and they're welcome to them, as you can see, bitten to the quick. They haven't touched the garlic, so there's a garlic there, and I'm a bit inspired by that, so I'm going to plant some more. That was just shop bought garlic. I'm going to put some more down before I go, which is tomorrow. So I was happy to see a lot of tulips, and these sweet williams here are sort of reappearing, which is great. I don't know if they ate the crocus or if they've just died back. It looks a bit weird, like that planting, but I was just thinking, this is the beginning of new garden, so things are going to look a bit weird in isolation. But once it all comes together, I'm hoping to make all paths through here with small stones. Also put another hydrangea in. So that's a hydrangea Annabelle. The reason why I decided on another hydrangea is because those ones here, I don't know if you can see them. Let's see if we can go here. Here, which I planted also last October, have all got buds on. There's 4 there, so all of them. And I'm really, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm really, really happy with that, because I just thought, well, maybe 1 or 2 would survive. I mean, obviously they haven't gone through the summer by themselves, even though I will be here for part of the summer. So, summers can get really, really hot here, and I think last year was like particularly dry. So if we have another summer like that, I don't know if they're going to make it, because as we all know, that looks like a little hyacinth. I just stood on. That's a bit silly of me. Yeah, so anyway, we'll go inside and I'll show you a few changes that have been happening there. So at last I've got my new front door, which is great. That means it lets in all the light into this little room, which is my favourite room. Oh, it's very warm in here. So, because it used to be, it's where they used to keep the meat. It wasn't, we knocked through the wall. We knocked through here into the kitchen, and then the stairs to go upstairs. Yes, so now we've got more light coming in here, which is lovely. I love this room. And that lamp. And then, as I say, excuse my washing, this is I really live here. It's not a showroom, show house. And in here, I've started painting. I've only done that corner. I'm not going to knock myself out doing it. But already you can see that it's making a real difference. I love that lamp. I got it in Budapest. Isn't that nice? I'm just going to take you upstairs quickly. So I'm just changing all the beds at the moment. But yesterday morning, I was lying in bed here, and through that window there was a deer. It was such a beautiful sight. It was just like, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds. And she was just coming down this very slopey part of the land and just munching something here. I thought, oh my God, isn't that wonderful? You're lying in bed, seeing this beautiful deer. I mean, where else are you going to see that? Well, I'm sure there's lots of places you'll see that, but you won't see that in Battersea. So I was really, really treated to that. It was wonderful. And even though they can be a little bit naughty, eating everything, i.e. my tulips. So here we are. So I'm going to sign off from this video. I'm also going to make another like a quick video of the little house, because there are some updates on that one as well. So thank you for listening and watching.